Welcome to CS151. My name is Luke May. I'm going to be your instructor for the summer term 2019. And for this video, I'm going to go over our course website, which is going to be sort of the central hub for all the activity of the course. And then I'm going to talk about the syllabus. So throughout the duration of this course, videos like these will be posted on the course website. And you can go to cs.indstate.edu/tilde. And then my username on the CS server is lmay1. Okay, so simple little web page here, and then this takes us to the course website. And I just have one course this summer, so you can click on that. And this is kind of the hub of the CS151 course. All right, so this first landing page is the home page, and the catalog description is here. This is a little bit out of date, but we're going to learn about the history of computers and computer science, principles of process description and problem analysis, basic structure of sequence, iteration, and selection, programming style, artificial intelligence, and current applications. All right. So here's the course syllabus. We'll get to that in just a second. But this course website you need to check every day and at least once on the weekends. The schedule portion here is very important. This is where all the assignments and all the labs, their due dates will be shown. Okay, so as this, sometimes I'll extend assignments, and you can check on that here. Exams, well, you should have 2 this semester, and they'll be in red, so to kind of catch your eye, right? So we have lecture material here. Every week I should post lecture material, and if we look at this page, there'll be little sections and a video for each section. I like to make smaller videos so you guys can consume the material a little bit easier, and you don't have to search through one giant video if you're looking for one particular thing. Okay, so this first lecture series, we're going to talk about this video, which is about the syllabus and the course website. Then we're going to have a video on the CS server. This is how all of your labs are going to be turned in. Okay, so this is going to be very important, central to the entirety of this course. Linux terminology and basic commands. This also is going to be, Linux is going to be used on the CS server, and you're going to need to know all of this stuff because this is going to be how you turn in the labs. Okay, so this first week or two is very important because you're going to use it for the duration of the semester. Okay. So we'll have a video on that, and then Mattermost is the chat program that we're trying out this semester, and we'll have a video on how to use that and some of the things you can do with that as well. Okay, so this is going to be the first lecture series, and for each lecture series we have a homework. Okay, so the homeworks will be under here. I don't have anything posted yet, but as I get these videos up, we will post a homework, and the homeworks are usually just multiple choice, and it'll be on a web form. So you'll log in to the web form, and you'll get a password in the email or in your email from me, and you log in with that password, and as you answer the multiple choice questions, they're saved immediately, and we'll process that for your homework. Okay, so they're just questions. Now the labs, however, are actually more like projects, right? So you'll have files, you might make small computer programs that you need to turn in. All right, so we'll do some of that. And the labs will all go under here, lab 1, lab 2, right? So these should be close to weekly that we do this stuff, all right? And then tutorials, this is just additional stuff. As we progress through the semester, you're going to, you might encounter new applications that might make performing tasks in this course a little bit easier, right? So there's different applications we'll cover that'll help you. Here's a tutorial on the CS server, so depending on what operating system you have, if you have Linux, Windows, or Mac, kind of how to log into the CS server there. Also, we have some Linux basics, Linux terminology and definitions, right? And we're going to use all of this stuff throughout the duration of the course. So make sure you do read this stuff in the tutorial section. It's not just optional stuff, okay? And we'll have homework questions and stuff on some of this stuff as well. So that's very important, and we'll talk more about what all this means in later videos. Okay, so that's kind of the tutorial section. And as we encounter new applications, like I said, we'll have little tutorials on how to use them. All right, so that's the course website in a nutshell. Try to keep it kind of simple, and then let's go over the syllabus, and then we'll be done for this video. All right, So this is CS151. My name is Luke May. The email address is luke.may@indstate.edu. Okay. Office is not applicable because this is an online course. This is a link to the course webpage. These instructor directories are on the CS server. This will mean more to you once we've gone over how to log into the CS server and some of the things involved with that. The lecture, this is online lecture, so there's no lecture to go to, but weekly, usually on Tuesdays and Fridays, is when I'll post new material. So make sure you check, especially on those days, you check for new material and new homeworks and new labs. All right. But you'll be expected to watch the videos and read the supplementary content. Sometimes I'll post links that are optional, and I'll say that, but sometimes I'll post links that are required for you to read. Okay, so just, again, make sure everything runs through that course website, so make sure you stay up to date on all that. We will not have a final exam, but we will have a final project for this course. Okay. Office hours, since this is an online course, they are virtual. So Tuesday and Thursday, I will try to make myself available from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Which that I'm available other times as well, but that I try to be available for chat, for Mattermost chat, or if you have an email, I should be able to respond to it fairly quickly. All right. If those times don't work for you, we can definitely get together and figure out a better time that does work for you. All right. So feel free to contact me so we can set something up. If you do feel like you need to discuss something or need some help. All right. It's summer, so the GA tutoring I don't believe is available. The prereqs for this course, there are none. It's an introductory course. We are going to be learning a computer programming language. Okay, so essentially we have to figure out how to communicate with computers and get them to do the things that we want them to do. Right. So there are lots and lots of different languages that you can use to do that. So we're going to be using Python 3. And Python 3 is kind of a nice one because the syntax is a little bit easier than many of the other languages. Okay, so as I progress through this material and as you learn about Python from me, there are also additional resources. Here are a few of them. There's some free resources on Python that are really good, but there's lots of other things on the internet too. Okay, so it's important you start viewing yourself as a professional and a self-starter. If you get employed at a large business, they're going to approach you as if you are the professional, you are the expert, and if there's something you don't know, you need to know how to learn it, right? So the internet is an excellent tool for that. Feel free to Google things for supplementary information. Just don't use that code necessarily in your programs, right? But you can look at all that stuff to help you understand how certain aspects of the programming language works. All right. So here's some resources on Python 3, and you'll additionally have everything I talk about in the videos as well. Okay. Course announcements generally are going to be made through emails to everyone or the Mattermost chat. Okay, so check both. Daily, you're going to want to check the course website, check your email, and check the chat. All right, so those are the three things you need to do daily, or at least every couple of days. Okay. Classroom conduct. This is online, so you'll be expected to behave professionally in all the digital forms of communication that we have. So you can be kicked off of the Mattermost chat, and that will be detrimental to your grade because sometimes things happen through there, participation points, various other things, and you won't be allowed to make up those points. Okay, so just treat this professionally like you would at a job where you could be fired, right? So you can have fun. I want to encourage that. Just try not to cross any lines, right? If you think if you have a question about whether something might be offensive to somebody, it probably will be. So don't post it. Okay. So basic course information, course number, CS151, Intro to Computer Science, CRN section. It's a 3 credit hour course. Course outline, we're going to be learning Linux. That's going to be critical because everything we do on the CS server runs the operating system Linux. Okay, so that'll be the first thing we cover. And then we'll go into kind of how computers work and what they're about, which gets into binary number systems and storing data in binary and different things like that. Talk about Boolean logic and circuitry. And then we'll talk about Python 3, the language. Okay, and this is going to be the core of the class. Mostly we're going to be learning a computer programming language and learning all the different things that these languages can do. Most programming languages have very similar types of constructs. Okay, there's data types, and then there are expressions that you can evaluate. Like mathematical expressions. 2 plus 2, that evaluates to 4, that sort of thing. But the different types of data, there's different types of expressions you can use to manipulate that data. All right. You have conditional statements. Depending on certain factors, you might execute some code or execute some other code. Right. We go into functions, collections of data, loops, and some other stuff. But as we go through here, you will at least be competent in one computer programming language. And regardless of what your major is, this is going to be useful. Virtually every single field in the world has a deficiency of computer scientists and just people who are capable of programming and solving problems with the computer. Is a valuable skill no matter what your major might be or what field you want to go into. All right. So once we get through some of the basics of the language, we're going to move on to kind of what these programming languages can do. We're going to sort some things, sort data, which is a very common thing to do in almost every single computer system, computer software. Then we'll go into pattern matching and parsing. And then at the end, I like to do some simple animations. It's nice to have something visual that you can kind of see and kind of make something artistic as well. Okay, so computer science isn't always all about math and numbers. It's also very artistic. It can be, anyway. All right, so we'll do some of that. Here's some learning outcomes. I'll let you read that. The expected amount of work here is 5-7 hours a week, maybe 8 hours a week. Okay, if you are wanting to go into this as a major, you're going to probably need to expect to put in about 8 hours a week, right? Students who get A's and who have an easy time finding a job, those are the students who put in that amount of time. It's important that you know the stuff that I assign. That's to prove that you know how this stuff works, right? If you actually are wanting to do this for a living, you're going to need to play around with this stuff for yourself. You don't have to just do the things that I assign. You're going to need to also do additional stuff. Try things out on your own. Try to come up with problems and then solve them. Okay, so that extra effort is what sets you apart, and that's what makes employers want to hire you. Okay, so that's really important, especially if you want to do this for a living. You're going to need to put in the extra time and do more than just the stuff that I assign. Okay. All right, grading and assignments, homeworks and labs, we talked about what those are. We may or may not have quizzes, but all of these are going to be graded equally. So we will take the average of all of that, and that will be 40% of your total grade. All right. Exams are generally going to have a multiple choice portion like the homeworks, and then also a lab portion. All right. And we'll probably have 2 exams, and so that means each one will be worth about 15%. All right. Participation is just kind of a nice way for you guys to boost your grade. I like to make sure the students can start out with an A, and then they kind of just have to maintain that A. You will be required to do some stuff for these points. They're not entirely free, but they're relatively easy most of the time. Okay, so just make sure you check in on the chat and check your email and check the course website, and it should be pretty easy to get all these participation points. So it's kind of a gimme 10%, but you do have to do a minimum amount of effort. All right. So we're not going to have a final exam in this course. We're going to have a final project, and that's going to be 20% of your total grade. All right. So all this added together, 20 plus 10 plus 30 is 60 plus 40. That's 100%. Okay. So if you have any questions about how your grade is calculated, there it is in the syllabus. Course policies. Course policies coincide with that of the CS department, the math and CS department at ISU. Late work, I will not accept late work, mostly because we have to go over it. So when there's assignment due, if it's a homework, shortly after the homework is due, I grade them all, and then I go over the answers, so that way you understand what you may have missed. Okay. And same with the labs. I've tried in the past to allow people to turn in things late, and they would lose points if they turned it in late, but the problem with that is it delays when I can actually go over the lab. And I think it really detracts from the learning process if people do a lab and then they don't see how to actually do it properly, right? So for that reason, I've decided this semester I'm not going to accept any late work. But I'm not unreasonable. Like, I'll check in periodically with everybody and see how they're doing on the assignments. And if everybody's kind of struggling, so occasionally we might extend some assignments. That's fine. But make sure you start on all this stuff early. A lot of people struggle with computer science. It is kind of like learning a language. You're learning a language and how to speak to a computer, right? So you need to start on this stuff early, and if you have any issues, contact me, and I try to make myself available. So if you have anything that you need help with, I'm here and we can talk about it. But start early so you know if you do have a problem, we can catch it and we can take care of it. All right. So it's also better, since you are kind of learning a language. If you've ever learned a language in the past, like a spoken language, it's better to do a little bit every single day, because if you do all of your assignments on like one day, then like once a week, then you spend like 5 or 6 days without having touched it, you forget all of that. So it's very important that you kind of do at least 3 days a week this stuff. I would suggest you try to do it 5 days a week, especially if you've never seen anything with computer science. Okay, so it just sticks in your brain a little bit better if you do a little bit every single day. All right, grade cutoffs. This is just standard stuff. This is pretty standard ISU grade cutoff stuff. It's hard to get an F. The people who get Fs are the ones who stop trying. If you stop turning in assignments or turn in assignments with blank files, that sort of stuff. But if you're trying, you may just be struggling, and you're turning in everything. It's pretty hard to get an F in this course. Okay. So if you are a computer science major, you really want to be shooting for kind of the B plus or higher range. You have to have a minimum of a C in this course to move on to the next anything else related to computer science. All right. So, but if you're not in computer science, obviously you still want to get as high grade as you can, but you will use all this stuff regardless of what major you're in or what field you go into professionally. So this is useful stuff. I'm going to try to gear it so everyone can use this stuff regardless of what field they're in. Okay. Blackboard I don't use very much. The syllabus is posted there, and as I grade things, your grades will be there, and then sometimes I use it to email people, but I don't have much use for Blackboard. Academic integrity. This gets into cheating. I want you guys to be able to discuss problems and how to solve them, but I don't want you to just copy each other's work. Okay, so just be professional. Again, the point of all of this is to learn, right? So if you really want to learn this information, you can look at other examples and get help from myself and your fellow students. But if you get help from somebody in your code, you need to make sure you mention that. So you can write comments and tell people, or tell me that you got this code from such and such, or you had a conversation with this person, or you can go online and look up how to solve some problems, and that's fine. But you need to make sure you cite your work. If you go online and just copy something, we have programs that we run on your files that detect common ways to solve them, that solves these problems that are on the internet. Right. So if we suspect you of cheating, kind of the way we deal with that is you should be able to explain exactly what's happening in the program on the spot, with no help. So that's kind of our litmus test to see if you actually know what you say. So if you don't, if you find some code on the internet that you want to use and you don't know how it works, you can just write a comment that says, "I don't know how this works. I found it on the internet. I know it does work, but I don't really know how." All right, so you'll lose points for that, but you won't fail the course, right? That won't be considered cheating, right? So it's really important. There are serious ramifications from cheating. It is considered plagiarism to copy code from fellow students or copy code from the internet. Now, I am allowing you to do some of that as long as you comment. All right, and you may lose points for not writing it yourself, but it won't be considered cheating in that case. Okay, so just be professional, and again, the whole point of this is to learn. So if you have any questions, let me know, and I do want you guys to be able to discuss these issues on the chat server and stuff like that. All right, so you can read more about this at the CS policies of this webpage. If anybody has any special needs or disabilities, please let me know as soon as possible so I can try to accommodate those. hopefully within the first week if you can, and I'll do everything I can, or talk to whoever I need to help you with anything that you may need help with. Okay, so just contact me as soon as possible for any of this. And then disclosures regarding sexual misconduct. I'm required by law, if I overhear anything that could be construed as sexual misconduct, I'm required by law to contact the Title IX coordinator and report it. So I am available if you need to talk. Just know that anything I hear, I am required to report. Now, if you would like to talk to somebody without them having to report anything, there are counseling services and different links here you can look at to contact someone that may help you through some of this stuff. Okay, so hopefully this never applies to anybody, but just know that if I do overhear something, I am required by law to discuss it. And if you need help with anything, you can see some of these links for people to talk to. All right, so that should wrap it up for the course website and the syllabus, and we'll move on to the next video. I'm looking forward to teaching you guys.